بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وصحبه وسلم. Welcome again in the series of women mentioned in the Quran, and today inshallah we are going to talk about Musa's mom alayhim assalam, and we have our guest speaker, Sister Fatima. Jazakallah khair, Sister Fatima, for coming and talking to us about Musa alayhi salam. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. تفضل يا أستاذة فاطمة.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Jazakallahu khairan, Mu'adh, for inviting me again to talk about all this, our role models, women who mentioned on the Quran. We spoke before about Maryam alayhi salam and Asiya radiallahu anha, and then today inshallah we will spoke about Musa's mother, Musa alayhi salam's mother. Allah mentioned her in the Quran in Surah Al-Qasas. It's not the always, subhanAllah, there's something very amazing about the Quran is the Quran doesn't give details, no details about what's her names, how she looked like, that all maybe our human nosiness, we want to know, the small in the stories, but because the Quran wasn't a purpose for entertainment. Quran is for learning lessons,
So those details, we didn't need them to learn the lessons.
Exactly. So the Quran always mentioning the story, the necessarily, because what do you need to know in your life session, in your deen, what can make you better, what people you look at it and said, oh, okay, oh, her story is like me, or I can be patient like her, I can, fight like him. That's the purpose of the stories in the Quran. About that, Allah Azza wa Jal didn't mention the detail. And something else that very nice to we knew as a Muslim, that Bibles have a lot of details, and how much the details, the people, they don't understand. They cannot, put the stories together because it's not the books. It didn't, come from Allah Azza wa Jal, all of it, because a lot of people from the Christianity people or Jew people, they wrote it by themselves,
Yeah.
They explain the stories in their own word. So they make it too much long, or they put the stories that they wanted to in, so they mess it up. About that, the Quran is, we're not allowed to, write on our own version of the stories inside the Quran. We cannot do that. So we just respect the Quran as is, and we take the version of the ayat like Allah Azza wa Jal, revealed, and then we recited it. Some of the stories of some Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam talked about it and explained it to the Sahaba. Some of them we have to go with what the Sahaba said about it, or the Tabi'in, or the great scholars, how they said about the stories. Musa's mother, Allah Azza wa Jal didn't mention her name, and Allah Azza wa Jal called her as a Musa's mom, as a Musa's mother, and this is an honor, the honor for the mother. Like what a great honor to more than to having a son as a prophet.
Yes.
Like for me as a mother, for you as a mother, our subhanAllah, great dream is to our kids to be good people in the deen and the dunya. Is that right?
Yes.
That's our dream. And then we never will mind someone calling us on our kids. That's like something very nice, subhanAllah.
Yes.
So Allah Azza wa Jal honored Musa and said, Musa. And it's something very small detail that we have to mention it here, that Musa is younger than Harun.
Subhanallah.
Yes.
But usually when we call in Arab culture, we call it with the oldest son.
Yeah. In Arab culture, we call with the oldest son. But in Allah Azza wa Jal make it as who's a noble, who's the more, the closest to Allah Azza wa Jal. That's the person who Allah Azza wa Jal called her with it. That's the person she should know. Oh, that's Musa's mom, Musa's mother. So the ayah start, Allah Azza wa Jal said, وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَىٰ أُمِّ مُوسَى أَنْ أَرْضِعِيهِ. That's in the middle of the story, If we go just explaining the ayah, then we're not going to tell all the details of the stories. But I try to, go back why this incident happened, So we knew Bani Israel or Israel kids, they used to live in Egypt. That's their place. But Pharaoh, in the Pharaoh, we say Pharaoh in the Lugha Arabiya, it's not just only person's name like Fatima and Zainab. No, that's mean the name that they give to the king, you know.
Yeah.
So that's the anyone be the king on that time, they call him Pharaoh.
Yes.
So all Pharaoh people, they all his people, they came and they conquered Egypt.
Do we know his real name?
There is a lot of version of, but we don't know each one of them, like which one. You know, there are a lot of them. So
Yes.
which one, the one in the Musa's time, we don't know. You
Yes.
know, but some people they said, oh, he was this, he was that, but we don't know which one was because there were a lot of them. You know, like the son died, the other one come, but the one he was in before Musa's birth, he was the one he saw dream because they conquered Egypt and then they slaves all Bani Israel, women and men. The men working for them, gardening, taking care of the animals, doing whatever, any labor job, and all the women working maid in their houses. But he saw a dream that a kid, someone gonna deliver a baby, and that baby going to move him from his crown and take him from his authority, and he's not gonna be powerful anymore. That baby is gonna be from Ben Israel. So
That
that
Firaun dream,
dream,
right?
yes, Pharaoh saw the dream. So Pharaoh is obsession, and he's not just dictator. He's more than dictator. Like he can tell the people, you're not allowed to breathe if I didn't allow you. You know, so that with all this power he had, with all this control he had, he just like how how Ben Israel, even can come in my dream and having a baby that is gonna take me out of my throne. Even if that dream that wasn't true, he's just saw a dream. But he said, okay, we will kill all the male from Ben Israel from now on.
Yeah.
That show how he was, volume. Volume is wrongdoer. Like he didn't have any piece of rahma in
He
his
was
heart.
so scared.
Yeah. And
Yes.
then to freak out about dream, and then you start killing kids because you saw a dream.
Yes.
So his plan was very, very strong plan. He worked with all the women who call them midwife. Back then they don't have a doctors. So they have a midwife who go and deliver babies, and they knew this lady is pregnant. So they follow up with her and they deliver the baby. So he trained all these midwives. They go and check the women that they're suspecting they are pregnant.
Yes.
And then they be there at the delivery time. If the child was a boy, they just handle it to the military of Pharaoh. And then Pharaoh people, they just kill the baby, a newborn baby, you know? And then he was doing it so excessively that all his people, they have to go to him and plead. And they said, what are you doing? We are not going to have any male from Bani Israel to be slave and work for us because you're killing all of them. How are we going to have a slave to do gardening or take care of the animals or do all the labor job because we just going to left alone with the women, and then the women cannot have a babies later because there's no male. So plan, you have to come with a different plan because you cannot kill all the male. You have to do something else. So he think about it, and then he told them, okay, then let's make a plan. 1 year we kill all the boys, and 1 year we leave all the boys. Did you see the plan?
Mm.
So they go
He
from 12,
still
12.
he still want to kill the boys,
Yeah,
but
he still want to
every
kill
other
them, but
year.
he need them. He need them.
Yeah.
So he said, okay, then to just, and then to please his people too, because he's ruling them, he's abusing them. They under his, under his authority, but he was scared if he's not listening to them, maybe they're not gonna, be the same things, obeying him like all this craziness. So he came with the middle ground. He said, okay, 1 year we kill all the boys, 1 year we leave all the boys. And then subhanallah, and something, very amazed about, if you're trying to, playing with Allah Azza wa Jal. If you want to say, I will trick Allah Azza wa Jal, or I'm going to stand in front of Allah Azza wa Jal. you know. So he made deal. 1 year he's not going to kill the boys. 1 year he's going to. Harun, alayhi salam, born in a year, the safe year, that they're not killing the boys.
Mm.
Is that right?
Yes.
But Musa, born in a year that Pharaoh killing the kids.
Yes.
Allah can switch the plan. Is that right?
Exactly.
Allah can make Musa born. He's not gonna born in this year, the year after. But Allah want to teach Pharaoh a lesson. You were trying to kill that kid. This the kids you was trying to kill. The time you was killing all the other babies. But look what I'm gonna show you. Look my plan. You know. So Musa born in a year that they killing kids. So that the mom she knew she pregnant, she hide it. She didn't tell the midwife she's pregnant at the beginning of it. And then they said she was wearing loose clothes. She was hiding her pregnancy.
Maybe she was feeling that she's gonna have a boy.
But just be safe because she already have a
Yeah.
one boy. Maybe so.
Mm.
What if she have another one? You
Yes.
know, and she knew that's the year they will kill the boys, so she have to be protect the baby. So she hide all the pregnancy. Doing her delivery, she delivered the baby in the nighttime.
Mm.
She didn't tell no one about it.
SubhanAllah.
And then that subhanallah, the moment of you having deliver the baby, that's the weakness time. That's mentally, and physically, you are not able to even think straight about anything else, taking care of anything else.
Yes.
But she's in the middle of crisis. If the people figured it out, she delivered a boy, they were gonna come and kill him.
Yeah.
So she have to think about the plan. What the plan that I can keep that baby safe. So Allah Azza wa Jalla said, وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَى أُمِّ مُوسَى. Wahi is mean delivered message to human from Allah Azza wa Jalla. That wahi could be in a different shape. It could be angel that gonna come and talk straight, like to as a human face, like come in a human shape and talk to the person and tell him Allah Azza wa Jalla telling you to do this. Or it could be as a sound, you can hear it in your ear, but you don't know where it's coming from.
Mm.
Or it could be something Allah Azza wa Jalla put it in your heart.
Mm.
You
So
know,
which one?
and so for Umm Musa, what Allah Azza wa Jalla put it in her heart, it wasn't a message, because if angel come and talk to her, then she will raise her level not to the prophethood, and she wasn't a prophet. So she got ilham, mean in that wahi is as a version of ilham, mean like something come to her heart that you peace with it. The idea, something you think about it and you find it. That's the solution.
Mm.
That's the way Allah put it in her heart. And then Allah just said, "An ardi'ihi." So the first, what Allah asked her to do is to nurse the baby first.
SubhanAllah.
And we will know why, because Allah does not talk for no reason. Allah does not give any order for no reason.
Mm.
So the first things Allah asked her, nurse the baby first. So the baby, subhanallah, they said, I was reading a documentary about the people who want to give their kids for adoption in the hospital. If they don't want to have the kids, they don't allow them to hold the baby if they deliver the baby. They don't allow them to nurse the baby because they don't want the baby make attachment with the mother.
Yeah, they don't want that
Yeah,
connection. Yeah,
yeah.
SubhanAllah.
So
Because the
so so
breastfeeding.
so the so
Yeah.
the first person will pick up the baby who's going to adopt the baby.
Yes.
So the baby can make that connection with that person. But subhanallah, and that's very unfair, I think so. But so Allah asked her to nurse the baby so she can make a connection, so the baby can know her smell and know her milk. That's the purpose.
SubhanAllah.
And then Allah said, فَإِذَا خِفْتِ عَلَيْهِ. But if you scared, it's no another way that you can keep that baby safe. فَأَلْقِهِ فِي الْيَمْ. Yam mean is a piece of water. It could be sea, it could be ocean, could be river.
Okay.
It could be a lake, any piece of water.
Yam.
Like the big version of water called yam. So, and then Allah just said, and throw him
But
in the water.
Sister Fatima, by looking at that, where they lived before, it was in
Yeah. So
Egypt.
yeah, that's what I was going to. So they were living in Egypt, we said.
Mhm.
And then they say, subhanAllah, her house was at the Nile River.
No,
So the
subhanallah.
Nile River was in the backyard of her house, in
Mm.
her house. So, and then subhanAllah, the time we were young, the time we memorized Surah Qasas, I don't know if you have the same idea like me. I thought she just put him in a box and throw him in the river, and then she just cried over it and then, prayed that Allah Azza wa Jal bring him back. But that's not what she did. That's not the idea, That what she did is she put her baby in a box, you know. She tied the box with the something in her house,
Mm.
in a tree or something. So the baby sitting in the water, like a little far away from the house, but she can pull the rope back and nurse her child, feed him, and then change him and whatever is need, and put him back there again.
It was
Why?
only the same
Because,
night?
huh?
It was in the same night that happened?
No, it's that's the point we're coming in.
Mm.
We don't know how
How
long she
long?
did.
Okay.
We don't know how many days she did that. We don't know, subhanallah, if she did it for a couple of days, for a couple of weeks, for the same day. We don't know. But
Uh-huh.
in her idea, she didn't throw him like this loose in the water. She put him in a box. She tied the box on tree. So the baby not in the house. If the military of Pharaoh came to look for the baby, I was suspecting, they used to do checkup on the women's to
Mm.
see maybe someone hiding somewhere.
Yeah.
But if they come to her house for checkup, it's no baby in the house, but the baby in the box in the water. But subhanallah, that Allah Azza wa Jal told her, "Wala takhafi, don't be afraid, and wala tahzani, and don't be sad."
Mm.
And this is like two, like most word that you need to know if you mom and you knew in the stage of you going to lose your child, you know, like the fear and the sadness. That's the two things that crushing you down. But Allah Azza wa Jal told her, don't scare, don't be sad. Why? Inna radduhu ilayki. Indeed, we will bring him back to you. That child is coming back to you, you know? And then it's something else. وَجَاعِلُوهُ مِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. And then he is going to be in the prophethood.
So Allah promised her two things.
Yes. So imagine like you in this disaster in the middle of you having a child that you knew for sure 100% that child will be killed. That to stage that you have to put your child in a box and leave him in a river to keep him safe.
Yeah.
It's nowhere in the earth that you can keep that child safe. That's hopeless. It's like, the plane is like very bad plane, but she doesn't have another one. But Allah Azza wa Jal tell her two things. Allah Azza wa Jal tell her to not do two things, to not be scared, to not be sad. Why? Because Allah keeping her mental status, so she's not going to be crazy. Don't scare and don't be sad. That's the two things is going to put you in peace, And then at the same time, Allah giving her good news. Two good news. One, that child is coming back to you. You're going to raise that child. And then Allah Azza wa Jal tell her, وَجَعِلُوهُ مِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. If that child going to go to the prophethood, that means that child is not going to die. That child going to live. It's nothing going to happen to that child. So this two bishara that she got it give her a peace in her heart, But subhanallah, with all this, that when she hiding the baby on it, got loose. So that's in my idea. I think she kept the baby more than one day, So the one day the baby got loose and the river pushed the box. So the box is gone missing with the baby in it.
Can you imagine, subhanallah, and
Yes,
what we're gonna do at the human
that's
nature?
yes, that's the status of the situation is a nightmare for any mom have a little child, like if you go to store, if you go to a crowd place and you have a little baby like they're moving around or whatever, you make sure that you lock that child's hand. Is that right?
SubhanAllah, yes.
But subhanallah, Allah has had a plan for her that she didn't even imagine it, how it's going to be. Because Musa alayhi salam, he is not going to be the person or the child who's gonna knock Pharaoh out of his throne. No, he's going to be the child that Pharaoh will spend his own money to raise him.
Subhanallah.
You know, so that's what Allah explained for Pharaoh. You were trying to miss him, you're trying to kill him, but you're gonna spend him. You're gonna spend money, and you're going to raise him, and
And
then
that's
he's
we're
going to
gonna
be your enemy that you were looking for. You know,
subhanallah. And that's what we're gonna learn inshallah in the
that's what
coming
we,
the next
inshallah,
in the
yes,
the coming ayat, inshallah.
inshallah,
Stay tuned,
bi'idhnillah, for
inshallah.
the
We're going
next
to
week.
learn. So so nice, subhanallah, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told her to do something like against human nature, and at the
Yes,
same time she followed the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even though
yes,
she was afraid, but was she listened to Allah's order, and she did what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told her. She has that ثقة, like trust in Allah subhanahu wa
right,
ta'ala. When Allah
yes,
promised her, "Inna رَادُّوهُ إِلَيْكَ وَجَعَلُهُ مُرْسَلًا," promised her two good news. Like you in tough situation, but
yes,
you have the two news that coming to you. Subhanallah, you have to have that strong iman, help you to be strong and follow the directions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Subhanallah. It's
yes,
so beautiful.
yes.
Jazakallah khair, Sister Fatima.
وجزاكي وجزاكي أم.
Inshallah, we're
جزاكي
gonna continue about Musa alayhi salam in the next video, inshallah. Jazakallah khairan.
وجزاكي إن شاء الله.